Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today we have what looked to be quite an interesting puzzle here. It's called Primogenesis by Fool on Hill. I've not heard of this creator before, but that's probably just my own ignorance. So I'm not going to use that to say this is something, this is somebody who hasn't done multiple, so they very well might have. And they might be quite popular. Anyway, what are the rules to this puzzle? Because there's quite a bit going on the screen. So what do we have? We got normal Sudoku rules apply. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. Now, we have some Kropki rule sets here. So if two digits are separated by a black dot, and these are some big old black dots, one is twice the other. All black dots are given. So we do have a negative constraint here, which is interesting. Essentially, 2-to-1 ratio, or one is twice the other, both whatever works for you in terms of understanding the black dots. It just means that if this is x, this is either x over 2 or 2x, or like the creator stated, if this is x, this is either half or double of it. And then we have if two digits are separated by an x, they sum to 10. Interesting that they separated the Kropki dot rule sets, but that's okay. If two digits are separated by an x, they sum to 10. So we've got a bunch of x's in here, as you can see. Just means that all of these situations where we have an x, the two digits added together sum to 10. Then we have the remainder of our Kropki dot rule set, which is the two digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Not all white dots are given. And I don't know if I mentioned that or said it, but all of the x's are given. So there's a negative constraint on the x's and on the black Kropki dot, but not on this white Kropki dot. This white Kropki dot here is the only one on the board, and it just means that these two digits are consecutive in some way. And that's all of the rules. Like I said, there's not a ton of rules, but there's a lot going on, so it should be able to figure some things out. So let's get started with Primogenesis by Fool on Hill. And, well, I'm going to think we're either going to start with we've got a couple of things we can look at. So the interesting things about an instant correspondence between black dots, or black Kropki dots, and X clues is you can never put a 5 on either of them. Because if you put a 5 on an X clue, you have to add another 5 to it, and that'll instantly break the puzzle. If you put a 5 on a black Kropki dot, you either have to pair it with 2.5 or 10, and that doesn't work in Sudoku. So in this main column, but the column number 5, we have XX, black Kropki, XX, X / black Kropki, and XX. So the only place a 5 can actually go is up here in the top row. Now we can probably continue that kind of arrangement around. We can, because none of these can be 5, so therefore this is 5. None of those can be 5, so one of these is 5, so none of these can be 5, so one of these is 5. How about in here? None of these can be 5. One of those is. None of these. So one of these is. I can't say that one. And these. So one of these two is a 5. And that actually gives us a little bit of an X-wing. So these are the only places that 5s can go in these two regions. So therefore none of these can be 5s. We already knew these couldn't, but that ruled out these two. So we can actually just type that in. What do we say? These two are 5s. Okay, so the 5s weren't as helpful. I thought they might. We got a couple of 5s, but there's still quite a bit of leeway out there as to what can be what. And I'll just put that in for the sake of doing it. I'm not doing this bottom one just because I don't feel like it. It's two different sets. It's not really that they're looking at anything specific. It wouldn't be as helpful to label it. So then, what's the next way to look at this? And I think it's going to be our black Kropki dots, because as we said, we have a ton of them. And what does that mean? Well, there's only certain ways that you can make black Kropki dots work. The first thing is you can never have a 5, 7, or a 9 on a black Kropki dot. a little bit more constrictive than an exclude, because 5s, we already said, 7s is the same situation. You have 3.5 or 14, that doesn't work. And 9 would be 4.5 or 18. All not useful digits. So we can use that somewhat, but not to great extent here, because really there's no region that I can see where there's so many black dots that we could instantly say where the 7 and the 9 go. We know there's a 7 and a 9 up here. I don't think that's going to really get us into anything, because all we're doing is kind of removing this sort of situation. So, I mean, I just marked this because I was up there, but I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think what we're going to want to do is start looking at our black Kropki dots and how they work together. Because there's only a few ways to make a black Kropki, particularly when we get into 3 cells that are consecutive on black Kropkis. Now, the ways you can make a black Kropki dot work are 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and 4, 8. But if we have 2 black Kropki dots that are working off of the same cell, you can never do the 3, 6 variant, because if you put a 3 or a 6 in either one of those, you have to put the same digit in both of these. So these have to be from 1, 2, 4, 8, and the middle can never be 8 or 1, because they'd have the same issue with you'd have, if you put a 1 here, you'd have to have 2 2s. Put an 8 here, you'd have to have 2 4s. Now, again, that's not a super useful thing, although we can just say this is a 2 or a 4. I'm not going to write all of these in here. Now, we can't do that same instance in this one, because these are constrained within a region by themselves, so therefore there can be no repetition. But these could be. So you could put a 1 here, and both of these could be 2. That would work. So where else? And again, we've got situations where we've got quite a few black Kropkis, but there's multiple things that could go in them. So like I said, we could do, like in this region, we could do 1, 2 here, we could do 4, 8 here, and this could be the 3, 6 down here, but that could be mixed up in all sorts of different ways. So starting to look back at this 2, 4, I mean, I don't know how useful it's going to be to start adding in these little bits of information, because we know this is either 6 or 8. But again, it's not giving us too much. Same with this. There's multiple things that this could be. Now, I guess we could rule this out as being an 8. Because if this was an 8, this would force this to be a 2. But if this was 8, this would be 4, and this would be 2. So that doesn't ever work. Now, if this was a 2, I think it rules out the same thing, because this would have to be 8, but this would have to be 2, 4, 8. So this can't be 2 either. So we get a 1, 4 here, which means this is 9 or 6. Now, this can never be 4, because we can't do anything with a 4 here. So this has to be a 2, which means that's not a 2, and this is not an 8. So this is a 1, 4 pair. Now we've got a little bit of something going on, which is good. Now, if we know this is a 1, 4 pair, well, we reduce the possibility. Well, actually, we do more than that. We actually figure out what this is, don't we? Because we can no longer do 9, 1. We can't do 8, 2. We can't do 6, 4. So the only left option is 3, 7. That'll get rid of our 7 up here. If this can't be a 7, it just means that this can't be a 3. Again, I don't know that that's giving us a ton. What else do we have? So we know we've got a 3, 7 pair here. We've got 2 other versions of the 10 in this column now. But those could be from 9, 1, 8, 2, and 6, 4. This guy right here, we know it can't be 1, 2, or 2, 4, but it could still be 4, 8, or it could be 3, 6. Huh. Okay. Now, what else do we have? Seem to get little bits of information here and there. But the bits are too bitty. And some of the when there's a lot going on the screen, sometimes it can be hard to find the exact point that you need to be looking at too. Not that that's a negative thing. It requires very good scanning skills, which sometimes comes harder certain days than other days. Well, we already knew this wasn't 3, 7. I was going to say something about that. This is not 3, 7. It could still be 9, 1, 8, 2, or 6, 4. Well, this can't be an 8. We could say that. No, we can't say that. I was thinking something and it was just wrong. Where am I looking? These are 2 and 4. There's still too many options here, I think. Because these, just said, these could be 1 and 4 or 8. Well, it could be 2 also. Yeah, they could be 1, 2, 4, or 8. They're all going to be like that. But if we said this is a 4, this would be 6. If this was a 2, this would be 8. And yeah, that doesn't rule out anything from either of those situations. Okay. What am I not seeing? That's probably right there, but I just have not been able to focus in on it. Now we do have our negative constraint. All black dots are given. All X's are given. I don't think we can use that yet. So I was looking down here, noting that these have to be 1 and 4, so this one always sees both of these, but the 3 or the 7 doesn't ever interact in terms of an X-type clue with those. So it ends up not being super useful. But I guess maybe what we can say is there something in these that's being ruled out because of that negative constraint? So what can these digits be? We know there's a 5 on it, and we know there's 6, 8, or 9. These can't be an 8, 9 pair because of that negative constraint, and they cannot be a 5, 6 pair. So this can't be a 6. So this is a 5 with either an 8 or a 9. This is the other of those two, 8 or 9. Right? Because this could this be 6? One of these is 5. Yeah, this could still be 6. It's not quite good enough, is it? Do we have... No, there's no negative on the white dot. That's correct. So this is either 5, 8, and 6, 9 can just go anywhere they want. Or is that true? That's not... That doesn't work, does it? If this is 5, 8, these are 6, 9 clues. Now, no matter what we do, with those, there should be an X between these two. Because if this is a 6, this has to be a 4. And therefore, this has to be a 1 and a 9, but there's no X. If this is a 1, 9, this has to be a 6, 4, and there's no X. So this can't be 8. So this has to be 5, 9, which means this is 6, this is 4, this is 8, and this is 1. Okay, there we go. That's a little something. Okay, now this black Kropki. Well, let's look, just get rid of our options over here now. This 6 right here sees this, so this has to be 8. Therefore, this has to be 2. These are not 2, and this can't be 8, so this is 4. This has to be 1. Okay, now we've got into this thing a little bit. Good. That 4 now gives me a 6 here. This has to be from 5 or 7 to be consecutive. We have to have the 9 down here because it can't be here because we can't have a 1-9 pairing. So there's a 9 down here. What else are we missing from this? We need the 3, which could technically go anywhere. And the 5 and the 7. And those could also go anywhere. Okay, so maybe we don't have anything more going on over here. What about here? Because I was looking up here before I decided to go look over here. This black Kropki dot cannot be from 1, 2, 2, 4, or 4, 8. So this has to be a 3, 6 Kropki, which forces these to be from 1, 2, 4, and 8. This can't, well, that's not true. I was going to say something. I thought my mind went stupid a second there. This can't be 9. What else? Is there anything here? This can't be 4. So this can't be 8. If this is 8, that's a 2. This is a 4. And this is a 1. If this is a 2, this is an 8. Either a 1 or a 4. We don't know which one. If this is a 1, 9, 2. Okay. Again, it's not quite there. What about this X clue? Because it also sits on black Kropki dots. Now we know it can't be a 9-1. We know it can't be a 6-4. And we know it can't be a 3-7 because the 7 would break the black Kropkis. So this has to be a 2-8. Therefore, this is not 2 or 8. This is not 2. That's a 1-4 pair. This is not 1. What are we left with? These have to be from 7 and 9, and this cannot be 9. No, not 7 and 9. Sorry, 7 and 3. We can't determine which is which. Yeah, because this... Well, no, we can. This can't be 7. What I'm talking about is on a black Kropki dot. This is 7. This is 3, so therefore this is 6. We can get rid of our 7 dot here. And these actually just be... No, we don't know, because it's 2... This is 2, 8. We do. This is 9. Look at all your clues, buddy. Okay, now we know what this is. It has to be 9-1. And 9 cannot be on a black Kropki. So this is 9. This is 1. This is 2. This is 8. This is 4. And 1. And 2. And 8. Okay. There we go. We're moving now. Took a second, but we got there. What can we put here now? These have to be from 4, 5, and 7. And this can't be a 4. There's nothing negative, no negative constraint we can do elsewhere, I don't believe. Okay, so here we go. We jumped out into a little bit of something there. Can we continue? Yes, this has to be a 9. Now we can remove 9s from a bunch of these. One of these has to be a 9, which means one of these has to be a 1. Okay. Now we know none of these can be 1, so there has to be a 1 on here. That is because we have a 1 there, and we're looking at a 1 here plus a 1 here. So all of these come out. This has to be a 1-2 pair. And this one could still be 4-8 or 3-6. We don't know that yet. What about you? You have to be a 3-6 because we've already used 1, 2, and 8. So therefore, this must be 3 and 6. These are 4, 5, and 7 triples, but I'm not going to write that in yet. It's not enough going on there. If we know one of these is 1, this is actually a 1-2 pair, which then tells us this is a 8-9 pair. We'll put those in. And that's going to tell us what these are. Well, these two have to be 5 and 7 because this is a black Kropki. This is what's left over, which is 4. Now, if this is 4, this is either 2 or 8, and it can't be 8, so you're 2. You're 8. Okay. Now, you were either 1 or 4. You can't be 1, so you're 4. And let's keep going. You're 6. What else do we have? I can't quite tell what this digit is. It looked like you might be because of all of this, the digits staring at it. But it looks like it can be 1 or 3. Seems to be the options there. How about this bad boy? It can't be 8-2 or 6-4. It could be 7-3 or 9-1 though, which isn't great. What else? Is there negative constraint I didn't look at just yet? There could be. Try not to forget to look at those because they can be very helpful. This has to be from 3, 5, 7, and 9. I'm going to write those in for a second. They can't be 9. Okay, that helps because if there can't be a 9 in any of those, there must be a 9 here. That's 9 and 5. Means this is a 5. This is not a 5. And what else do we have? What are these 3? Because they're on an X, I'd like to see what they are. We've got 3, 7, and 9. Can't rule out either of those instances. Sugar. It just means that this is either 3, 7, or 1. All right, what else do we have? We're moving along here. We're trying to find dribs and drabs as to where to keep going. We've got a 3, 6 here and a 1, 2. Yeah, we already said that one, didn't we? What else can we do with our Kropkis, maybe? What did I say this one had to be? Either 1 or 3. Yeah, I think that was correct. Because the only thing we're missing are 1, 3, 7, and 9. And this can't be 7, or so I'll put the 1. I'm just going to put it in there, just so I'm not forgetting it again. Okay. Now, does that rule out possibilities here? I don't think it, no, it doesn't. Okay, because no matter how these work together, these are going to be offset from their neighbors as to which ones can be which. Let me clean up a little bit while I'm dawdling here. Okay, we need to figure out some of these other Kropkis maybe then. And where are we going to do that? Unless there's just some real basic Sudoku that I've missed. But probably not just yet. The 1. No, not quite. It was worth a look, I guess. 2s as well is kind of lacking in its possibilities. Let's just look at this Kropki for a second. Well, sadly, that's not actually very useful. Because it could be 1, 2, or it could be 3, 6. Well, duh, here we go. Sorry, there is some Sudoku here. This is 3 and this is 6. No, it's not giving me a ton, but it's something. At least we can get rid of our 3 from here. Okay. Now, this cannot be a 3-6 now. Or actually never could be, because we had that X-Wing that is no longer an X-Wing. It's just there. Well, it's still an X-Wing, but it's not an optioned X-Wing. We just have 6s looking at it. So this cannot be 3-6. And we also know it cannot be 2-4 or 4-8 because of the 4 here. So this is 1-2. Okay. That means we've got a 1-2 X-Wing. This cannot be 1. So this is the 3-7 pair, which means this is 1 and this is 9. Okay, we know that these two digits now are 3 and 6. This cannot be a 3 because there would be there's a 7 next to it. So this is 6 and this is 3. That's 6 and 3. This can't be 4 because of the negative constraint again. So this is 4. Now we've got a 5, 7, and a 1, 2. So this is just a given 4. Am I looking at? Yeah, 4. Awesome. Again, I'm trying to look at negative constraints. Here we go. We got a 7 here, so this, or 3 here, so this can't be 7. So this is 5 and 7. That's going to give us our 7 and our 5. Scanning a little bit, we got a 5 here because of that bit of Sudoku now we just figured out. These are essentially givens, as in they are 7, 8, and 9, and this is not 8. These two are given as a 3, 6. There's a 6 here, so this is 3. This is 6. This is not 7 because, again, of our negative constraints. This is not 9 because of our negatives. That's a 7. Okay, now we've got these digits left over. These have to be from a 3, 6 because we've used 1, 2, 4, and 8. There's a 3 and a 6 looking at it, so this is 3 and 6. And this is going to be a given digit of 9, so that's going to give us our 1 and our 2. And an 8, and 9 and 8, and this is breaking wide open now. These two have to be from 4 and 7, so this is 4 and this is 7. These are now 1, 2 pair. These are 4 and 5 pair, so this is 5 because there's a 4 down here. And these have to be from 7 and 8. And do we have any negative constraints now that are going to send us home? I don't see anything, so it's probably just basic Sudoku. Let's see what we've got left over. Maybe it's not basic Sudoku. There's probably a negative constraint. It's probably on the X's, because I haven't looked at negative constraints on X's. Or I haven't looked at them for the black Kropkis. Maybe that's what it is. Anything? Yes, here we go. There's a black Kropki. I didn't see this one. So all black dots are givens, therefore this can't be a 2. So it must be 1 and 2. And that should hopefully sort everything out. More negative constraints that we can use. 9 and 8. This has to be 5. This cannot be 5. These are going to be given digits now. This is 9. This has to be from 3 or 7. Okay. So it looks like we now probably have a negative constraint somewhere that I just hadn't seen or didn't look at previously. So do we have anything? 3s would be the only thing. Because there's no white dot negative constraint. So if there's any 3 next to a 6, there doesn't appear to be. And where's the negative that's going to do this then? Because I think just basic Sudoku is out the window at the moment. Because it's just the 3s and the... Oh, here we go. I just couldn't see it. This can't be a 3. There we go. 7, 3, 7, 3, and 3, and 7. There we go. You solved the puzzle. Only took about a half hour. little bit less than that because of the time taken to go through the rules and all that. So that was fun. There was a lot going on, but it definitely took some scanning to find where the next place to look at is. And some of you may have seen it right off the bat, wherever it might have been, and been like, oh, that can't be that because of this. But it took me a little while to start getting into this one. But anyway, it turned out to be quite a good puzzle. Thank you, Fool on Hill, for creating it. I hope you all enjoyed that one, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.